I messed that up for like 4 different people. So. Well, praise the Lord. What an amazing opportunity this is, just to be able to get up and talk. I already talk way too much anyway, so when people ask me to talk, I'm like, sweet, I get an excuse. And so, when Jean asked me if I would share anything, I was struggling and trying to think of something. But the big thing is that I grew up on a ranch and was heavily influenced by farming culture. And this place is an agricultural wonder. It's a place where you guys plant seeds and we get to see them grow. This is the oldest job in the world. There's the joke that's wrong, but the literal oldest job in the world is farming. And we have got to plant seeds. I was a part of R4, and then I was a staff member as well. I got to teach class with R7 with Davis. And man, we had some good times and some crazy times. But to go through a program like this, I wanted to be an Olympic wrestler. Like, that was everything. And then one practice took that away from me. And I went on to then think like, okay, what am I gonna do? Well, I ran into the same people at Summit Semester, AJ. So it's a very similar story to some of us. And it was actually Abby. Abby went to Summit Semester and then went to Rivendell, and I was like, oh, well, I want to do both. And so AJ's like, shoved me in front of Abby and was like, here, talk to her. And she's such a rock star that I was convinced, okay, I want to do both of these. All of my dreams have disappeared, so what am I going to do? I'm going to wrestle with God. And sure enough, for the next 3 years, I wrestled with him through the most insane, arduous program that at times was difficult, as you all know. And at times I didn't want to do it anymore. I wanted to go to sleep. But assignments were due. And it's so amazing then to leave. They asked me to share, like, okay, what are some of the things that you've done since Rivendell? And I really haven't done a whole lot. I got a piece of paper from another college that cost me about $40,000. And I got a career that I'm not going to stay with very long because I want to go back and spend more money for another piece of paper. But God can do so much with planted seeds. And in my own life, he was able to plant so many seeds and then use them in miraculous ways. One way you can define a miracle when you're talking about it is there's only so many times the phrase just so happened can fit into a conversation before you have to realize that there's something else happening. And so it just so happened, I don't know if this young man remembers me, but it just so happened that after I graduated, I went out to YWAM Maui because Joey and Abby convinced me to come out and help teach a college course. And then in my Summit Semester class, there was a Vinca he ended up sleeping in my room on the floor half the time because we just became fast friends. So I was like, well, I'm gonna go visit a Vinca while I'm out in Hawaii because there's only so much opportunity. And while I'm at your house, your mom pulls me aside and she says, do you know what this created thing is? And I was like, well, it just so happens I do. I not only went there, I worked there, and am pretty intimate with the knowledge of the program. I've been through it twice, so I think I at least have. Nowhere near Pete level, obviously. That's a whole different subject, but I at least feel like I can kind of explain it now. And so I had like an hour-long conversation with your mother about the program and whether or not she was even willing to send you out to the literal opposite side of the world from Hawaii to this place. And I actually, at the time, was like, this doesn't make sense to send your son here. Like, that's the beauty of the work of the Lord. Like, none of this makes sense. This program doesn't offer you anything on paper. Like, oh yeah, this college has only been here for a few years. It's changed states a few times. It's done all these crazy things. So it doesn't make sense, but that's not how the Lord works. What's wise to men is not what's wisdom to God. And what's foolish to men just is where the Lord thrives. And so it's like we're having a conversation with Mrs. Vika, and I'm like, this doesn't make sense. He's not gonna leave this program with this great resume in a sense, but he's gonna leave it with so much experience that it's not gonna matter. Because a resume is one way to get yourself into a door, but your ability is what keeps you in the door. And so, more than anything else, what I wanted to talk about, what I wanted to share is that the Lord, I didn't do any of this. I just happened to be in Hawaii and taught for a little bit. But the young man that spoke first is a fruit of the Lord's work in a place like this. And if you want to look around and see the other fruit, all you have to do is just turn your head and just gaze in the glory that God has been able to produce in all of our lives. And you can go through the program and come out really regretting, like, man, I wish I would have done more. And that's such a common thing that I've heard, that as you realize, like, that's just fruit of all the work that you've done coming to fruition, that now you're able to go out into the rest of your life and continue to grow. And so, yes, we're planting seeds. And right now, you students are not going to see those seeds come to fruition and for a good bit. But take our word for it. Hit all of these alumni up and say, like, hey, was it worth it? You're going to hear the same answer every time. And what an amazing blessing you all have been to all of us. And so thank you guys both so much, Bobby and Jean and Davis and some of the other giants that aren't here tonight. Matt Harbour was instrumental for a lot of us, and Robert and Bev, man, what rock stars. And there's so many other people who have been so instrumental in all of our success. And gosh, I've been so blessed by my class as well, that it's amazing just to be able to be here and share this and see what it's done, and to see the work that God's going to continue doing on all the fruit that's going to be produced. Weird fruit that is super strange, but that's how the Lord works, and what a blessing it is to be a part of that. So, thank you.